guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today, I have a great video lined up for you guys. It's going to be one of the strongest decks in the game right now, and you might want to give it a try before it gets the nerf hammer. That's right. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it, I've collected 2 tweets to share with you guys from the Rumham, who's actually a game designer with Supercell now, and he tweeted that the Valkyrie will indeed be getting a nerf in the next balance changes, so we know 100% that one of the cards in this deck will be getting a nerf. He also tweeted that the Prince will be getting a buff, the Dark Prince will be getting an indirect buff by the Valkyrie nerf, and in another tweet, he said that the Royal Hogs, in his opinion, are too strong right now, but he wants to take the next couple weeks before the balance update goes live and kind of assess the situation further. So Royal Hogs and Valkyrie, how do you guys feel about that? Me personally, I agree on the Valkyrie. Her win rates and her use rates are pretty insane right now. On the Royal Hogs, though, I'm probably going to go ahead and be on the other side of that fence. I think that probably a unpopular opinion here, because I see it on Twitter every day, people talking about how strong Royal Hogs are right now. But me, when I look at the win and use rates, I think that they're high, but they're not any higher than like Battle Ram right now. I think that they're it's cool to see a win condition other than the normal stuff going around. So I personally would not nerf the Royal Hogs, and I hope that Supercell doesn't. We're seeing them in CRL a lot used competitively, a lot in grand challenges, but we're also seeing their use rate start to dip a little bit, as you can see right here, and that's, I think, as people kind of start to adjust to them being so prevalent in the meta. So I expect that to continue, and I would not advocate for a nerf. How do you guys feel about that? Okay, so today we have Mana Deep, an Indian pro, hit me up. He vaulted up the ladder all the way to first place, like gained, I don't know, he must have went on an insane win streak, because he gained like 455 spots in the span of a couple hours. Granted, it's not the end of ladder, end of the season, but still, it was using this deck, guys. It's, like I said, one of the strongest decks in the game right now. Of course, Royal Hogs being your win condition. If you guys don't have Magic Archer, you can just sub in Musketeer in this spot. You also have the Zappies in here. The beautiful thing about the synergy between the Zappies and the Magic Archer in this deck is they're both killed by Fireball, which sounds a little weird. They're both killed by Fireball. Like, why is that a beautiful thing? Basically, you can't use your Fireball on both of them. So as long as your spacing is correct, you can defend like big air pushes and stuff like that, big beatdown pushes, just relying on both of the cards, and the opponent will have to decide which card to Fireball. Other than that, you can sub in Zap if you don't have the log. So let's go ahead and hop right into the replay, guys. I have a bunch of them. I'm actually, man, I'm sitting on so much content right now. We have a good one against Bochum here. We have a good one against Apple Thief. That is Harry, the Iranian pro on Apple Thief, and he's a really, really good player. I've had him on the channel a couple times now, sharing this same deck that he's playing right now at the top of your screen. It is probably the most powerful bridge spam deck in the game right now that he's playing. So here we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and hop into this play first, and then, as I said, we'll just kind of take you through some difficult matchups and how to kind of negotiate them. So here we go. It's going to be a Fireball right off the bat coming in from Mana Deep onto that Magic Archer, and you can see Harry just going to go ahead and reload with a Battle Ram in the right. Now this deck is beautiful because you do have that Tombstone, which I talked about as one of my top 10 kind of less level dependent cards in the game, and I really think that Tombstone has incredible value. Almost every card in this deck, even Zappies, honestly guys, I know a lot of you aren't like a huge Zappy believers out there, but man, Zappies, those might be a card which could also get a nerf. Unfortunately, I don't want them to be nerfed, but the use and the win rate on Zappies in GCs right now is actually higher, believe it or not, than Royal Hogs. So Zappies serve a great defensive purpose in this deck, and if you ever don't know what to do when playing this deck, just go ahead and reload with that Tombstone or split Zappies in the back. Now, you have 3 air counters plus your Fireball, right? You have Zappies, of course, you have Magic Archer, and you have Mega Minion. So again, spacing is going to be crucial when defending, especially against air pushes with those 3 cards. You don't want to give your opponent too much Fireball or Poison or big spell value. So here we go. Royal Ghost coming down the left lane. This is a good match, and I think it does go well into overtime, so we'll kind of watch the habits and the decision making of Mana Deep here. So this is going to be a good maybe Fireball value. Indeed, he takes it, but he misses the Magic Archer. How can you get #1 in the world missing the Magic Archer? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He pulls out the victory either way, so easy for me to say, right? So here it comes. The Magic Archer, unfortunately, behind that battle ram there, but nice placement on the Mega Minion, causing that Magic Archer to not hit the tower immediately, although eventually it does. Now we respond to the other Magic Archer with ours. He goes his own way, and we take a lot of damage, and we have to use a log. So just because of that missed fireball, we take a few hundred damage on the right tower. We have to use a Mega Minion. We probably would have used that either way, but we also had to use a log. So man, just because of that missed fireball really came back to haunt us there, especially on that right tower damage. So now we're just going to go ahead and split zappies. That will be good because the opponent will choose to fireball on the right here, and now it's going to be a big push coming on the right behind that battle ram, but we still have the tombstone ready, and we have the zappy resetting conveniently that Inferno Dragon in the left lane. Inferno Dragon, another card which I hope it doesn't get another nerf, but I wouldn't be shocked just because it's still such a great card, but you know, I don't think it will. So here we go, guys. Going to be a versus Royal Hogs with what, 5 seconds left in this match, the very first Royal Hog play of the game, if I'm not mistaken. And that should kind of show you guys that, you know, just with every other deck, but especially with Royal Hog decks, that's the big difference between Royal Hogs and Hog Rider. You're going to be less aggressive with Royal Hogs. Royal Hogs are only 1 more elixir, but that 1 more elixir is rather substantial, rather significant. And here we take a lot of damage on that right tower, taking it down to 999. And it's more significant in the way that you just don't want to throw away 5 elixir, especially if you don't know what counters they have in hand. So in some situations, you can start out with a Hog Rider at the bridge, playing a Hog Cycle deck. This would not be the same type of deck. You don't want to start out with a Royal Hogs at the bridge, kind of willy-nilly against the opponent. The odds are they'll have a good counter in hand, and you'll be down 5 elixir and have to deal with that counter push. So if I can share one piece of advice for this deck and any Royal Hogs decks, is you don't want to play it super aggressive. Good job spacing here on defense by Mana Deep. He's able to kind of negotiate that really big push, and then this time he nails that Magic Archer with the fireball. And on that push there, you knew the fireball was going to come down. So again, the spacing between the zappies played directly in the lane, and then the Magic Archer played in front of that King Tower. Now here's the big winning push. Royal Hogs get to the tower, and now all we need is a fireball to finish it off. We place that tombstone, it will block the right lane, and boom, game over about halfway through overtime there. A really impressive victory against a really good player. I can't say there's that many people better than Harry with that bridge spam deck out there in the world. So here we go, guys. Let's watch against Bochum, because you guys know the most popular comment. A lot of people took that out of context. People thought that I hate Lava Loon or I hate Lava Hound. It's not that. It's kind of an inside joke on the channel between me and longtime viewers who that it just every video that I put out that I don't share a matchup against Lava Loon, even if it's not a hard counter, inevitably people in the comments are like, yeah, but this deck loses to Lava Loon. It's kind of a running joke now, so that's why I always try to include a Lava Loon kind of to satisfy those comments, but now it's almost a meme at this point. So here we go, guys. It's going to be a Mega Minion in the left lane. Now, Bochum, a really good player. He's the Lava Loon god, let's face it. I don't think there's, again, a better Lava Loon player, so you guys are really getting the cream of the crop here in terms of the best players at their respective archetypes in the game. And here comes the first Royal Hogs a little bit earlier, but as soon as the opponent played that Lava Hound, and here we go, right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and take this right tower. That was really smart, and dropping the Magic Archer behind the Royal Hogs is not something you're normally going to want to do, but against a Lava Loon matchup, you can definitely do that, because what are they going to have for your Royal Hogs after the Tombstone is out of cycle? Really, probably only 1 more ground troop. Oftentimes it's Valkyrie, or it's just an air troop, basically minions. In that case, it was minions, so we kind of preemptively dropped that Magic Archer behind the Royal Hogs. We're able to tower trade in that circumstance. Now things are going to go into a little bit of a stalemate. We've got diagonal towers down here, and this one's going to go on for a while. Another match that's going to go deep into overtime. 2 players really at the top of their game. Let's see from the perspective of Mana Deep here. Thankfully, all the replays are on the right side of the screen, guys. You guys know how much that annoys me. but I think every replay I'm going to show you today is going to be on the correct side of the screen. So here we go. Actually, by the way, I talked to Bochum last time that he was on the channel, if any of you are Lavaloon users out there, and he said that if Valkyrie gets nerfed and he tests her out, he'll test her out, excuse me, a little bit, but if she doesn't work out, he'll go back to guards in that spot, just kind of FYI for you guys. And here we go. It's going to be a nice defensive stop here, baiting out that fireball, but we still have the Mega Minion, we have the Magic Archer, we have one Zappy still standing there, so we're able to defend relatively easy there. And this is kind of an interesting situation, right? The Lava Hound comes down, the fireball comes down, so again, as soon as that fireball comes down by the opponent, we're able to get more air troops onto the arena, but we always have to be playing our Valkyrie. We have to be playing our Royal Hogs when we see the opportunity, because we want to make sure we keep that cycle moving. We want to make sure we always have those Zappies and the Magic Archer in rotation. So one way to kind of understand cycling is to think to yourself halfway through the match, or even later into the match, okay, I don't have a great answer if he drops X or Y or Z. What do I need, and what is the best way to get there? Sometimes it's playing extra defense and just cycling your defensive cards in the back. Sometimes it's being aggressive only to get to your counter that you need. It's one of those things in the game that even I am really trying to work on. Like, that's the biggest aspect of my game that I'm trying to work on right now, is cycling better and cycling strategically, you know, meaning that cycling in unorthodox ways to get to the cards that I need. So here it goes, a Royal Hog right into that Tombstone. Now, obviously, no damage there, but we got the Tombstone out of cycle, and the opponent had to use the Valkyrie as well. So Bochum's going to go ahead and change lanes here and change focuses, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to execute a push onto the King Tower here. So again, spacing being crucial here. Bochum does have Fireball in hand. Fireball comes down, but he's not able to hit that Mega Minion. He kills the Magic Archer, and our Zappies do good work against that Valkyrie as well. A predictive fireball here, hoping he can catch Bochum off guard and hit that Tombstone. Instead, he actually was able to cycle back to that Valkyrie, but we get a lot of damage, and that puts us in a nice advantage here. I think this one goes actually like all the way until 20 seconds left, but either way, it's almost like a chess match here between these two good players. I'm curious, guys. I told you what I'm working on in my game right now. What are you guys working on in your game? Like, or do you focus on anything, or you just focus on trying to get better at one deck? Like, let me know in the comments, guys. What is it that you try to focus on, or maybe name one area in your game that you're trying to improve upon? And just curious as to kind of maybe giving me ideas too on like things that I maybe should focus on from you guys in the comments. So either way, guys, a nice value Zappy here. That one Zappy is going to basically counter that balloon, not let it get a hit, although it does get the death damage on that right tower. So here it comes. Going to be a fireball played right on that left tower there, trying to just get some spell cycle going on with only a minute left in this match. And of course, Bochum does have a counter and Tombstone in hand, but one little piggy gets to that left tower there, and now it looks like it's going to be GG here. Finally, I don't know why he didn't fireball right here. I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit of BM, or maybe he just wanted to play. He could have just fireballed. I'm not sure why Mana Deep did not fireball here, but I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward. Eventually, he does fireball right about here. So there it goes, guys. Finally, an epic match at its conclusion, but that would be, hopefully you guys get the picture on how to handle a Lavaloon matchup with this deck. It's all about spacing, really. Spacing and cycling. It's not the most difficult matchup because you have a decent amount of air counters, plus the fireball, which now pushes back the balloon. All right, let's watch another one here against Expo. He says, verse Expo counter. So let's watch this one here, guys. And now this is going to be an interesting Expo deck. It's been a while since I've shared an Expo deck here on the channel. I recorded one with that one guy, and I uploaded it on Facebook because it was from the old meta. They hit us with some surprise balance changes. But I need to do another one for the YouTube channel. So stay on the lookout, guys. I have a couple good ideas and a couple interesting first-time pros who reached out to me with interesting Expo decks. So anyway, apropos of kind of nothing, well, actually, we are in a match against an Expo player. So let's see how we handle this matchup here. Again, Zappies in the back, just kind of feeling out our opponent here, not rushing into anything. And Zappies are going to do an absolute fantastic job kind of clogging up and defending in that left lane. And now the Inferno Dragon being played into the Zappies. He's going to have to use something here. He ends up using a bowler, but unfortunately, the Zappies are doing very, very good work against that Inferno Dragon here. Unfortunately for the opponent, fortunately for Mana Deep. and he's almost able to actually kill that Inferno Dragon. Regardless, the Inferno Dragon flies in front of the bowler, so very, very good defense. And you can see we still have a pretty sizable elixir advantage here in this matchup. So a really solid start, and all we really did was play defense, and we're still able to get some incidental damage, or actually more than incidental damage, like 1600 damage to that right tower. We get a little bit of chip damage to the left tower now. Magic Archer connects as well, taking that left tower down to 2872 HP. So here we go, the first Expo being played by the opponent. We play a Valkyrie in the back here. We're going to rely on those Zappies to do some work against the opponent's Valkyrie, and this is a really smart move here, guys. Instead of going same lane, we went opposite lane, opt to take that right tower, and then we're going to use the Fireball on the Expo. Expo's going to lock onto that Zappy instead of the tower, and he made it look really easy there, but I think a lot of players probably would have been tempted to go Royal Hogs into the Expo. It's just a really good idea, something to think about next time you're playing a deck like this, or even a regular Hog deck. You don't always have to Hog into the Expo. You can go opposite lane, especially if you're going to take the tower like that circumstance. It's easier with Royal Hogs than it is a classic Hog Rider. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, by the way, guys, but you can sub in Hog for the Royal Hogs in this deck. It's not going to be quite as effective or being played in the same method. You can be a little bit more aggressive with a Hog, but the deck still works with that substitution, just in case you guys don't have high-level Royal Hogs. So Fireball again comes raining down on that big cluster of troops, and now with about 20 seconds left, it looks like the opponent can't even get anything going here. Really easy to defend with this deck once you have the lead, so it just being cautious in the beginning, taking what your opponent gives you, and eventually being able to capitalize on one big push like that circumstance where we saw the Royal Hogs in the right lane. Guys, I want to show you one more replay if you don't mind, and it's going to be against Graveyard, because versus counter, but played really well. Okay, let's see. Graveyard freeze. This is interesting, right? Because we have Valkyrie, which is obviously a great graveyard counter. We have Fireball, so no poison. And we don't have a ton of other great graveyard counters. I would say like a tier 2 counter in Tombstone. It's good, but it's not like a counter. And we have the Log to help out too. But they have freeze, so we're going to have to be kind of cognizant and aware and very cautious when playing our Valkyrie when it's not against the Graveyard. And another thing that you guys can do is, Magic Archer does pretty well too against Graveyard. Now check this out. This is like an insane Magic Archer value here. Like doing really, really well against that Graveyard. Normally, just because of the timing on that, it worked out brilliantly. But normally, I wouldn't say that the Magic Archer is quite that good. You just got to be careful when placing the Magic Archer. Make sure that the placement is key, and hopefully it will result like that one did there for Mana Deep. Brilliantly played, but you can see right out the gate there that we know the opponent has freeze, so you're going to want to watch and pay attention to every other graveyard situation by the opponent here, and watch how Mana Deep plays it. He's going to be very smart about it. He's not going to use his best counter right away every single time. He's going to use a secondary counter, wait for the freeze, and then play that Valkyrie, or he's just going to hold off some elixir, make sure he can Fireball or Log or whatever. So here he goes, the Valkyrie is placed, the opponent does have freeze, but he's not going to use it this time. That would be a way too big of an overcommitment, and if he did, we could easily go opposite lane with like Zappies and cycle to the Royal Hogs and hit pretty heavy there had he frozen. But a good non-freeze by the opponent there, and there's really no damage onto our towers here. I think not this push, but there is going to be a big graveyard push that we're going to have to defend at one point here where he does land the freeze. And you know, it's interesting. We have not an awful matchup against the opponent, but he also has NATO. He also has Tombstone. So NATO and Tombstone and Valkyrie, definitely like all the hard counters to our deck as well. So it's really kind of a battle of two counter decks to some degree. Obviously, the opponent does have the matchup. There's no doubt about it. So here it comes. It's going to be a Tombstone. Now, another thing that you guys can do here that Mana Deep actually doesn't do, but he can play that Tombstone in the corner behind the tower, and that way when it dies, even then with the freeze, it can spawn all those skeletons. So just something to think about, guys. I know most of you already know that move, but it's another benefit of having Tombstone in a deck when you go against a graveyard user. So here it comes, guys. Magic Archer in the back, kind of reloading with Magic Archer, getting that poison out of the opponent's hand, and then we're going to go ahead and split those zappies here. So even 20 seconds left into this match, we're still playing rather defensively right now. We know if we go all in on one of the lanes, the opponent can easily counter push on either one of our towers, pull off a huge counter push, and freeze, and then we're done. So that's why we're playing so defensively oriented in this matchup. We're just taking what is given to us. Have I said that a few times before in this video? I think I have. So zappies do connect to that right tower, but Royal Hogs are coming in. And look at this, looks like it could be over here, but look at this freeze, and then a clutch NATO, and then a tombstone from the opponent. I mean, talk about not giving up. You gotta give the opponent credit. And then finally the white flag comes down. I mean, that was a really, really expensive defense. What, 4, 7, 10 elixir spent on that defense, all from the 5 elixir Royal Hogs. And yeah, that pretty much put it out of contest there for the opponent to have any prayer of making a comeback. And you can see over 2,000 HP on both of our towers remaining. So guys, best of luck with this deck. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. I truly appreciate it, guys. Huge shout out to Clash Royale, my channel sponsor here. Check out Manadeep's player profile and stats. Thanks to StatsRoyale.com. And Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.